Dalla Villa, welcome to the library with Tim Einenkel. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, happy to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's see. Your bio is crazy, and in a good sense. I mean, you've studied music and dance in Norfolk, VA, right? And then you moved to New York City for acting. But I talked to you because these three singles, you've released that are hip hop, essentially hip hop singles, right? So let's start from the beginning. What drew you to dance? What drew you to acting? And then where does the rapping part come into play in all of this?
Great questions. Okay, so when I was younger, I've always been, a bit of a performer. My grandmother would always call me Jim Carrey and stuff. And you can see the similarities in my work on camera. And right. And I was a musician. I started off as a musician playing the tenor saxophone for the middle and high school bands, and I just loved it. And my sisters were dancers, and, I was a hip-hop dancer. I listened to a lot of rap music growing up, and I was influenced by that culture. And I just loved Eminem and Jay-Z and Nas, and Linkin Park was a big thing because they mixed the rock with the rap, and I thought Mike Shinoda was the coolest thing. And then as I got older, I found Immortal Technique and all that stuff. That was a little darker. But, at that time, Linkin Park was the biggest thing for me. And I started as a, hip-hop dancer, and that's what led me out of playing the saxophone into being more involved in dance. And I said, I'll never do ballet. I'll never do ballet. Took a ballet class, and I was like, this isn't half bad. And I was like, and I got really good at it. I got really good. And then I got to dance with Nashville Ballet's first company in a couple productions. I was with their second company for 2 years, but while I was with their second company, I got to perform with the main company. One time in particular as a soloist in Cinderella, and I really loved what I did. I thought I was going to be a ballet dancer for the rest of my life. And while all this was happening, I was still heavily influenced by hip hop. All I would listen to was hip hop, gangster rap, Ice Cube, NWA, Kanye West. But then I have an eclectic sense, because I've also would mix in the classical and things like, black violin, what they would do. They would mix classical and hip hop. That was really cool. Yeah, right. And then I literally went around the country trying to find my place in a dance company. And it was through an injury in Chicago where I was performing as a principal with this company, Elements Contemporary Ballet. And I said, man, what do I do? I'm injured. What do I do? And it was a simple sprained ankle, but I just couldn't accept the contract from this company that had offered me the contract, this other company that offered me the contract. So I hopped on Craigslist and I said, screw it, I'll act. So I started acting. I got with this dinner theater show and I just started winging it, man. And then that led to my first movie in Chicago and someone scouting me from an agency. And then I got scouted by a manager in New York. And he said, hey, do you have any plans of moving here? And I said, yes, because I was always meant to be in New York. It's either New York or LA. I was always meant there. But, I had to go, try different areas to finally find where I'm meant to be. So I moved to New York and I started pursuing acting full time. And as a result of COVID, all the while writing rhymes, a lot of these rhymes from these songs are rhymes that I've written in the past that are just on my computer that I would just pull up beats and me and my friends would have these little rap battles and stuff. When I was a kid, I would like rap and stuff with my friends. And then COVID presented itself because I do audition for, luckily, voiceovers as well. So that was still keeping me busy during this pandemic because a lot of on-camera work fell through. And I lost some work. So I said, man, you know what? I've been sitting on these raps for so long. Why don't I just start putting them out there? And I did. And as a result of me putting it out there, it's attracted different avenues. It's opened up my sphere of influence. That just goes to show if you have an idea, just put it out there. So the way I transitioned through all these art things was partly out of desperation and I had to do it, and partly out of, hey, I'm going to find some way to keep moving forward no matter what.
obviously a lot to unpack there, right? But just take me back to you're some Suffolk, Virginia. What growing up? What was or what is, I guess, the hip hop scene like? And I mean, was it? I mean, as at a time, was it more acceptable? Was it acceptable? Did you have to sneak? Do rap battles with your friends?
No, like? I mean, it wasn't. I grew up in Suffolk, Virginia, so it wasn't that racist. Luckily, I had a lot of black friends, and I got along with them, and I just preferred hanging out with them. And that's where I saw the sort of culture. But for the most part, I grew up in suburban kind of neighborhoods. It was kind of a melting pot, if you will. So there wasn't really like a secret scene that I had to, sneak out and stuff. The dance thing was not cool with my dad because I come from a very conservative Christian family. And, he's a bit of a homophobic person. So, when I got into dance, he didn't like that very much.
Ballet dance particularly?
Oh, no. He loved hip-hop. Ballet was the thing. Ballet was the thing where he was like, but then I got really good at it and I got popular, and then he was proud of me. So I'm glad I was able to change his perspective. He's just from another time. We keep evolving as a society as time goes on and people start becoming more and more accepting because the norms start changing. He was just from a different time.
You mentioned you started off pretty much as a hip hop dancer, and you moved into another dance form. How were you able to use hip hop dancing to kind of learn or impact ballet dancing going forward?
Well, I'm glad that when I really got into hip hop, I got trained in ballet. I guess the hip-hop element helped me transition from classical ballet to contemporary ballet, which is a little more street. It's the street version of ballet, contemporary ballet. But I would have to say that I'm really happy that I got some technique classically trained that strengthened my hip-hop, because classical ballet is the foundation of all dance. I mean, if you want to get good at other forms of dance, I would recommend taking ballet because of the structure.
It's interesting. You get to go to school, right, for dance, Governor's School for the Arts, and so you have that right there. You're already quote unquote co-signed to be all right. You're good enough to be a ballet dancer. That's great. And it's legit. When did you know? Because we're going to talk about these three tracks that you released, and then more music to come. Who was that? When did you get that? Who was that co-sign in terms of like, hey, I'm writing lyrics. I'm going to share them with this person. Oh, you have something here. We should pursue it more. I mean, was it your own co-sign, or was there like that one person that you would always kind of bounce things off of that?
It would have to be a mix. Right before COVID, I was in a boy band actually, and Paul Anthony was the manager of the boy band. And that he was the kind of one that, I had these ideas and these raps and stuff that kind of saw something in me, and then I was like, wait a minute, I can write. And then I started pulling out all the stuff that I've already written. So that validation kind of helped me come forward and put my music out. And then this whole thing is a confidence game. If you have the confidence to do something, no matter what other people say, your confidence is undeniable. So it was a mix, but definitely he was a force that helped co-sign that sort of skill.
You just talked about Paul Anthony from the legendary hip hop an R&B group Full Force, and you read up on Full Force and you realize they are just so they've had their hands in everything, and every artist that you think you're like there's a good chance you hear an artist and you're like, of course Full Force produced them,
of course.
So what was and he produced your Bring It track. What prior to being part of this boy band, but also prior to him producing your track, how much did you know about Paul Anthony, and kind of what when you're meeting him, were you like, oh shit, this is a guy from Full Force, or was it just kind of like a meeting like, hey, this is this guy Paul Anthony?
I had no idea who he was. Basically, and you know what? It kind of works better for me that way when I'm working with, if I work on movies or a set, it's kind of better if I don't know people's resumes because I'm much more chill and relaxed. Otherwise, I'll fanboy out if I really dig them. I just knew him as someone who worked with the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, so I thought that was really cool.
So as you got to work, I imagine, more closely with Paul Anthony, and you kind of learned, his resume, what kind of stood out to you the most about him and kind of, working as a producer first, working with him as him being your producer for a track, what impressed you the most about his kind of work ethic and what you learned from that?
I'm pretty sure the guy's a musical genius, and I don't toss around that word lightly. He knows his stuff when it comes to music. He is surgical with it. And he opens so many levels for me in rap of, different voices and different tonalities that I can fit into one line while telling the story of the song. I mean, he's really, his ear too is just, he's better than the music teachers that I saw at the Governor's School for the Arts. He's better than them.
When this track came together, who was it a track? You mentioned you've had these rhymes written. Was this one of the tracks that were already written?
So I had the first verse, Diamond Rings, Gold Chains. I had that verse written. It was going to be a boy band song because Paul had this idea that, three of us within the group, we were a group, but then we'd have individual songs where we would collaborate with artists, etc. And him and I were working on a track, and it had a different beat, and I wrote that first verse, and he thought it was one of the smoothest verses I had written up till, that point in time at the boy band. And after the boy band fell apart, I came back to him. I tracked him down, and I said, Paul, hey, bro, we got to do something with that song. Because I started putting out Conspiracy and Demon Killer. I said, listen, I want a collaboration with you. And he said, okay, do you want to do some comedy? Because he knows I have an alter rap ego called Tucci Badaducci. We'll get to that. And I mean, if Eminem can have Slim Shady, why can't I have a comedic, Aaron, there's Dalla Villa and there's Tucci Badaducci. You're right?
Nice.
And it's good when the name warrants laughter, and that's exactly what I want, and that's why it stuck. But so I came to Paul and I said, listen, we got to do this track, man, please. And then he said, all right, show me what you got. And I said, we got to change the beat. So he changed the beat to that dope beat. And then I wrote the second verse, and everything else was already laid down from our previous session during the boy band. Like everything but the second verse was laid in with Anwar there, Anwar Berry in the track as well. And I said, okay. And then I recorded a new outro, and that was that. It was done.
Does he, with writing, is that something that he is hands-on with as well? You talk about, you get some executive producers or producers who, here they won't, they don't write it for you, but they say, hey, I like what you're doing with that, but it's not really landing as much as you think it is. Maybe, changed up a different way. Was that something that he was doing as well?
Yes, it was a collaboration thing. He never approached, well, there was a few instances where he would write something, after the second verse and be like, hey, I want you to spit this. Chocolate or vanilla, you can scoop by Dalla Villa. I'm $100 Billy. Billie Jean, I got your thriller. I want you to spit that, Aaron. I said, great, let's do it. So he'll come to the studio and be like, can you spit this? And a lot of the times I'll come to the studio with stuff I've written and been like, hey, how does this work? And then he'll be like, if there needs to be tweaks, he'll be like, can you change this word to that? Can you put this part first? That sort of thing. So it is truly a collaboration, Yeah.
That's awesome. You mentioned two other tracks, Demon Killer and Conspiracy.
Yeah.
You said that the track is inspired by Eminem. First, why Eminem, and how do you feel he kind of inspired this track?
I had the beat cut and modeled after Mockingbird. I literally said to the thing, I said, because I spit Conspiracy on Mockingbird. So here's what I would do. I would take famous beats and write lyrics to it, but I wouldn't be able to put it out there. Or I was nervous to put it out there. I could have put it out on SoundCloud, whatever and stuff, but I was afraid and I was nervous and scared of what people would say and laugh at me and stuff. So I just held on to this stuff for a long time. And I'm not doing that anymore, because I want to
Nice.
put this out there. And, if you don't like the music, you don't have to listen to it. So, but so anyway, so Eminem was one of the biggest influences growing up. I thought he was just in a whole nother world. I think he's a whole nother world as rapper. He's in a whole nother category. And I wrote the song to Mockingbird, and I said, listen, I want to keep this. I want to put it out there. I went to this producer. I said, hey, I want you to cut this beat and model it after this. And he said, all right, I'll make it happen. So we made the necessary changes that we needed to change so it wouldn't sound the same and it wouldn't be the same. And then I was able to flow on it, and I just laid it down. I laid it down, and I've been sitting on that for years, man. And I'm finally happy that I laid it down. And, I learned a lot from that song, too, because there's some people that say, oh, man, this is a hit. There's some people that say you should be more in the first two verses. And that, everyone's going to have their own opinion. But what I wanted to be cool and laid back in the beginning, because I'm really talking about intellectual stuff, but in a manner that's really chill, And then the third verse, which is a flip, the music cuts, and he's literally like, wake up, dude. We need to make something happen.
3% of the wealth lies in paper currency. If you feel what I'm saying, then we saying the same things. So rock back, tip top hats, no shock fact. Spin syntax with thumbtacks who melt like ice caps. Backtrack, centuries apart. Conscious is a thing of the past because there's no
And that's what I actually about the third verse, because the last 16 seconds of the track, the track completely drops out, right? The beat does, and then it's just you spitting a cappella. What's the reasoning behind that? What's the importance of these particular lyrics that makes you say, hey, I just want people to hear my voice on this, and not distracted, not being the right word, but not being distracted by the beat behind me.
In today's society, I would argue that most of the time people just listen for a dope beat. They're not listening to the lyrics anymore. I hope that we can get back to, and this comes up all the time in hip hop, I hope we can get back to a time where the lyrics meant something rather than talking about drugs, money, and you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, Bring It was a commercial track. I wrote it with commercial mentality in mind, but then I have stuff that I spit that's completely the opposite. So I literally said the beat drops out, and I'm like, dude, it's time to be a light in this planet of dark thugs. Show the good side of the force that contains pure love, the ultimate drug. Wake up, dude. Salvation starts with you. Go forth and do what you were destined to. It's like it tells people, listen, if you've been following me this whole time, how I was talking about individualism is fear-driven in the beginning, then you would know by the end that, dude, you got to go out there and make something happen and change. Because we're up against this conspiracy. We're up against this conspiracy that doesn't want us to be happy. So,
right. Before you talk about the other track, how do you, with a track like Conspiracy, and then you go back to acting, how much of that kind of how much of your art, your lyrics that are, you hold true, do you take into your roles that you pick or acting jobs that you have? Is there anything like, I won't do this because, how does the, what is the, I guess this is a later question, but what is the hip hop art form allow you to convey that acting or ballet would not?
That's a great question. What does hip hop allow me? Well, I guess in hip hop, I write these lyrics. In ballet, most of the time, you're doing the work of some other choreographer. Or in acting, you're doing the work of someone else's script, right? And in hip-hop, if I'm making the song, I wrote these lyrics. These are fully my lyrics. So I guess that's the difference.
Oh, what was happening at the time when, for you, or what were you seeing when you started writing Conspiracy and
the division? This was back. I was almost going to release it when Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton were running against each other, and literally, I just saw this stupid division between people over these two candidates who literally went to each other's weddings. You know, it's like, guys, it's a two-party system. They lean on each other. The American people are getting screwed and divided as a result. And you're going to buy into the hype. You're going to buy into the media. And look what happened. The situation only escalated from 4 years ago. So I knew I had to put it out when Black Lives Matter, when that whole situation came out. I knew I had to put the song out. It was time.
So what happened? Oh, so with that song, I mean, with the currently the Biden has been declared election president-elect, and Trump is obviously fighting it, and probably I imagine is going to lose that fight. But what does it mean for you? Like, what's the how has the relevance of conspiracy changed with a new president?
I love to see people united. I love to see people in New York happy and united and not fighting and not rioting, etc. But that being said, this new leader who comes in needs to hold true on the things he said he's going to do, because his track record and her track record do not show that. So
right.
I don't want them to get involved and just appease everyone and be establishment politicians. They actually have to do the things that they said they were going to do.
Right.
But actions speak louder than words. And this is why I say, listen, we're fighting the same enemies. If the people would stop believing that the president's going to change their life, maybe we'd be more empowered to think that, hey, we change our own lives and not be some scapegoat that's like, oh, I'm giving you all the power. Great. Everything's great now. That's just a false sense of security.
Right. And you have to hope that, the people who are, if you're blaming Trump, the people that were complicit in Trump's agenda need to be held accountable
100%.
as well.
100%. And both parties need to be held accountable. And also, we
Agreed,
have to
yes.
evaluate the bias of where we're hearing our information from. Everyone has a bias, and everything's become political these days. We have to acknowledge that. As opposed to be sheeped into any one train of thought, into one mob mentality. That's dangerous. That groupthink can be dangerous, and that can split us apart.
What is it about? I mean, how are you able to, I hope this sounds right, openly speak out, openly speak your politics without, I guess, fear that it would jeopardize any other of the art forms that you pursue, like acting or dance?
You have to speak your politics in a way that it's not combative, it's unifying. So you have to be very careful not to offend other people with the way you believe in things, because you have people following you when you're in the public eye. And you have to be careful with your words, but you have to give a message that's unifying and positive. That's why I believe in the unity of the parties. I think it would be great if we had a potential third party that was in the middle of all this polarization, and it was the People's Party. And the people really cared about each other, as opposed to becoming divided over these two guys, which honestly, they both kind of suck, man. So yeah.
Good point. Obviously we could talk about the problem with the U.S. political system all day. But I want to turn to the Demon Killer. It's the inspiration. You list Kanye West, MF Doom, and Nas as like the inspiration of this track. Obviously, all incredible artists in their own right. How has each of these artists not just inspired this track, but what do you take from a Kanye, from MF Doom, from Nas, and how do you put that into your art performances?
Nas is his wordplay. Well, I'd say Nas's wordplay, and you see him going in one direction, all of a sudden he switches it. MF Doom's flow is just so cold. You know what I mean? It's just so cold and out of the box. And then Kanye West producing and with the vocalization and the layering of his tracks. And, you know, I grew up listening to 808s and Heartbeat. I would dance to that in my room. And then when I got older, it was My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy all day. You know, I can feel his pain. But I think him as a producer, that's where he really inspires me. Because when I'll hear a beat, like Demon Killer, for example, the beat was like, oh, that's a Kanye West track. Give me that. I copped that. And then I started listening more to MF Doom. But I like originally it was going to be, I'm conscious with quick breaths, house with left reps, crept west, beat kept, punctured the bass clef, a quick death. You know, originally it was going to be that, but that wasn't fitting the track. For some reason, like I'd done it a million times when I put it out there, and I was like, this doesn't work. So I went back to the booth and recorded like another 50 times because the second and third verse was locked in. And then I was like, I just exhaled. I was like, conscious with quick breaths, house with left reps. And I was like, whoa, that was it. And it just came out. And you know what's crazy is that people will give me a hard time over... You know, there's a vocalization I have in Demon Killer, and there's a higher register that I go into, and then in Bring It, I'm in this lower register, and people have been like, you should stay in that lower register. But you know what, man? I like that higher register. I think that's dope, dude. You know what? And the bottom line, man, I don't care what they say. I'm going to make what I want to make. So, but yeah, those were my main three influences for Demon Killer. I love Demon Killer, man. I think it's just a fun track. It's energetic. It's positive. It's got a positive message, you know?
Yeah, can you actually talk more about that beat? Because I think that beat is sick.
That beat is so dope, bro. It's so dope. I mean, and I've got a part 2, Demon Killer. I don't know if I want to call it Demon Killer Part 2, but I got this dope track where this is from a Russian producer that I found on BeatStars, or I found him on Instagram or BeatStars, and I literally have bought several of his beats, and I'm literally like, dude, give me this beat, because, and it's like, and I was like, Dalla Villa, hey, Demon Killer, and I was like, yo, this is so dope. So I found the beat, and I would basically just plug and play with the lyrics, because I had this catalog of lyrics that I had written. And the third verse was actually, which is about my sobriety, where it goes, you know, if you're playing with my team, you know what it means. I keep it clean, stay away from people, places, and things, together, tethered, feathered. You know, like I originally got that. I had that beat I had that song about my sobriety originally rapped to Terror Squad's by Lean Back. So it's hilarious how you would never know that it would fit. So I have all these lyrics, and I was like, well, let's plug and play. Let's try to find it. So I had to do some tweaks and stuff to find it. And then the second verse, I believe I had half written, and I needed to find the first part, you know? And I thought it was really cool. You know what I mean? I like my coffee creamed. If Martin had a dream, I'll lead a revolution, a noun without a scheme. So I'm gonna keep my mind clean from a world statutory that's always trying to whore me. You know, like I was like, I like the wordplay on that one. So I was like, okay, let's plug and play this. And the first verse was written definitely after hearing MF Doom's flow, and then flipped on its side because it wasn't working, and it turned sort of into a Limp Bizkit kind of attack, you know, because I grew up listening to Limp Bizkit as well, you know? And they were a dope group that mixed rap and hip-hop, rap and rock, so.
I mean, you talk about your flow. I mean that's the thing, like, and you know, Bring It, Conspiracy, and Demon Killer are obviously 3 different tracks because they're 3 different names, but also
no, they're Conspiracy 1, 2.
But they're also like your flow is completely different on all 3 of them.
Yes.
I mean, you could easily tell me that you could easily put different artist's name on each of them. I'm like, oh yeah, and I could be like, yeah, that makes sense. They're totally different. You know, 3 different people. What is that? conscious? I mean, you talked a little bit about it, but what is that kind of that conscious decision to make sure that you don't sound the same on every track? And
honestly,
no, I'm not going to hold you to it in the future that I'm not going to say, hey man, you sound the same. No, but like, yeah, what?
Hey man, you got to sound the same on every track. I think for me, it was having these ideas. It's the beat. For me, it's mainly the beat. I'll write lyrics in my mind, and they won't come to life until I hear the beat. And then so I craft around the beat, and that's probably why my flow is different. And I think that's kind of exciting, because if I sound the same in every song, it's obvious. And it's like, oh, we already heard this song, because that may tell audiences that I may come out of nowhere and come through with a rock track that has rap on it, just because I feel like it. So I always want to keep people on their toes. And that's also me sort of experimenting with the flow. I know for sure that if you want to talk about, Tucci Badaducci, he has a specific flow. Like, he has a specific flow. The lyrics are more dumbed down, and they're funny at the same time, because of the content he's rapping about. But Dalla Villa, I'm really inspired by the beat. And literally, if the beat is leaning me into this direction, I'm going to lean into that direction.
Talk about Tucci Badaducci. When did this kind of, I guess, quote unquote, character come into play, and why have a persona?
So Tucci Badaducci might have been born out of the fact that I wanted to rap but was afraid to do it, and didn't think people took me seriously. I was in Atlantic acting school. We were in one class and we were just bored with my friend. And I was like, it'd be kind of funny, Tucci, Stanley Tucci Badaducci. And then my friend laughed next to me. I'm not, don't quote me if that's how it actually happened, but I think it really did just come out of thin air. And he's like, that's a funny name, Tucci Badaducci. And then we just started talking about it. I was like, yeah, what if he's this rapper from Long Island City, Queens, and he wears a Jesus piece, and, he's not that good, but he thinks he's great, and he has a manager called Vinny Vididici, who's like the worst manager in the world, who he pays 35% to. And this idea just sort of developed, and I made an Instagram for him, and then I combined the Instagram to Dalla Villas, and I just put everything under one roof. And then I started putting songs out like Warm Tub, Two Solutions, just stupid stuff just to see how people would respond. And they loved it. And I was like, oh, we really have something here. And then I got his character. I played one of his character for an audition for a Comedy Central sketch. They ended up casting me. So I brought that character, and you can see it. It's a Comedy Central sketch with Johanna Hassman, where I dress as Tucci Badaducci. And, well, they don't know that, but I know that. Nice. And I was like, huh. So what I did was I got with a production company here in New York before COVID, and I literally said, you know what? Rather than doing all these small individual skits for Tucci Badaducci, why don't we just shoot an 8-episode web series of this character? And they said, let's do it. So I have a full 8-episode short-form web series now on YouTube, which is called Tucci and Jones, and it features some of his music. You get to know who he is and that kind of stuff. And now what I'm doing with the character is all those songs that I wrote for him in the past, I'm redoing those songs, remastering them so they're super dope, because I didn't like the work I'm the person who last mixed and mastered it. It could thump bigger. You know what I mean? I want them to be really dope. If they're corny songs, I still want them to be dope and hit hard. You know what I mean? So I'm putting together an EP for that character simultaneously while working on an EP for Dalla Villa. So that is going to be my next move in terms of Tucci Badaducci. And my friend is even like, I didn't even know what meme rap was. Right. But apparently meme rap has like a huge following, and it's these stupid songs. And I like to think my songs aren't as stupid as that, but still, he was like, dude, Tucci Badaducci could be a meme rapper. And I was like, you know what? That's not a bad idea. People love that stupid shit. They really do, because, like, what are we faced with right now? We got all this election crap and all this other stuff. People want to laugh, let's bring something funny to them. Everything doesn't have to be so freaking serious,
Right. Is there do you have a goal for,
is there an end game?
End game for Tucci Bonaducci, but also end game for Dalla Villa. And if one surpasses the other, would you retire one?
My end game with Dalla Villa is to be recognized by a label and, do some shows, that kind of thing, in conjunction with my acting as they're feeding each other, and just continue to put out good music and collaborate with great artists. And I really do the music thing because I enjoy it. I try not to put so much pressure on myself to become a thing. Same with acting, I have goals and stuff, but if I put so much pressure on myself to become this A-list Hollywood movie star, I'm going to put so much pressure on myself for every audition and think it's the most serious thing in the world when you're supposed to enjoy this,
right.
And with Tucci Badaducci, if my end game with Tucci would be great to have it, I would like Tucci to have his own TV show on Comedy Central. So
nice.
Now I'm just battling with should I pitch Comedy Central or not with the series, and deciding on that. But yeah, so if one overtook the other, would I lean into that more? Most likely, because that would probably be taking up most of my time.
But before that, would Villa and Tucci do a collaboration album together?
I thought about that.
Or like a versus battle. Come on.
I thought, because what I wanted to do, if Tucci and Jones went to season 2, I wanted to introduce Dalla Villa into the show, and Tucci would meet Dalla Villa, and Dalla Villa would be this like super serious, like super serious type figure who only talks political rap, who only talks like really ethereal political lyricist. You know what I mean?
That'd be funny.
And then Tucci's like, I don't know if this really is gonna work, man. but his manager Vinny Vidici's like, yo, you got to meet this Dalla Villa kid, man. He's kind of a loner, He's kind of by himself in his apartment all day and stuff. He's kind of a weirdo, maybe a little crazy, but he's got the lyrics. So I would want to play Dalla Villa as those interviews with Eminem, he comes off as a total weirdo. Yeah. I would model Dalla Villa's character after Eminem, basically the way he behaves.
That'd be hilarious. That's fun.
It's hilarious, right?
Yeah, no, that's great.
And also it's a way for us to make fun of different rap styles as well. We do that in the show as well. We joke at the industry as well. But I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Well, I mean, was there be any? Could those two ever?
Collaborate. Yeah. You know what? I have this song that I'm sitting on right now, and what's funny is that ever since I started putting out this music, I have 3 movies in post production, and if it weren't for Tucci Badaducci, I wouldn't have been asked to write lyrics for 2 of the songs in one of the movies I have coming out, because I wouldn't have had that skill, right. or had that skill out in the open. I play in the movie. I play a guy who mixes jazz music and rap music, and his name is Tiny Hammer. And in my mind, he's basically Tucci Badaducci after he makes it.
Nice.
So he's like this Justin Bieber made it kind of like $200 million kid. And I wrote 2 songs for the character, and they literally were like, oh my God, we have to use this for the movie. So now I have 2 songs that I can put on my Spotify as soon as the movie comes out. And now because of COVID, I put these 3 songs out. So these other 2 movies that I'm attached to came to me and were like, hey, do you want to write a song for the movie? We'll shoot the music video for it.
Wow.
So I have one song, which is based on my character, Nolan Parthmore, who's like a nerd geek type who plays Dungeons and Dragons kind of game. And we're going to shoot a music video for side promo for the movie. And then I have another, which is a documentary about me, where I wrote a song specifically with Tucci Badaducci in mind, but my friends liked it so much that he said, can you change the lyrics? I'll shoot the music video and we'll put it in the movie. So if it wasn't for me putting it out there, this probably wouldn't have happened. And that's exciting because now I'm starting to see the merging of these 2 crafts come together. But would there ever be a collaboration? I had the song that, in my mind, I have a version for the documentary, which is Dalla Villa. Then I have a version for Tucci Badaducci. So I thought about combining them into one, but in a way already, the one for, oh shit. Oh man, you just made me realize something. I could totally use the one for the documentary and make it a Dalla Villa featuring Tucci Badaducci because of the way the chorus is right now and the way it sounds.
Oh, dope.
And I could drop Tucci Badaducci singing the chorus. Yes! Yes! That's exactly what I'm going to do. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Done.
That is exactly what I'm doing. Thank you. I'm literally going to make Tucci Badaducci the chorus for the song. And the song's done. It's mastered already. Like I have it. And I'm just sitting on it, but I can't release it till the movie comes out, so it's going to be for like a year or whatever. How long it takes, or else people are going to be like, wait, what is this song? Why is it whatever? Because it's its own thing. Trust me, it's its own thing. It's also got a Beastie Boys vibe to it as well. And Tucci, I'm going to put him in the music video on the chorus dress. I'm not going to say in the music video that he's Tucci, but people who follow me they will know. I'm going to plant that seed. That's a good idea, bro.
Nice.
And that's why I don't have separate Spotifys. I don't have a Dalla Villa Spotify. I don't have a Tucci Spotify. I'll put it all under one roof. Dalla Villa. It's Dalla Villa who plays these 2 characters. So, and also in essence, when I release the song on Spotify, I don't have to say featuring Tucci Badaducci. I can say from the motion picture, blah, blah, blah. And in the music video, show Tucci Badaducci doing the rap.
So,
chorus. Revelations, bro. Thank you, Tim.
You're welcome. That's why I'm here.
I love it, man.
You mentioned so it seems like the benefit of COVID, right, is you've been able to release these tracks, and so what happens then? Hopefully, when one day we're able to travel as freely and tour schedules open up. I mean, is this something that you're going to pursue as well in terms of the tour life?
That would, you know what? That would be fun. I literally, here's what I don't want to happen is that, and here's the issue is that my energy is already being split from, I get a lot of auditions, for on camera and voiceover and stuff.
Right.
And it's getting into the energy that I would spend writing music. So there's a balancing act. But if the music stuff takes off and gets more press, I will definitely for 100% pursue doing some sort of tours, because how cool would that be to be able to perform both Dalla Villa and Tucci Badaducci tracks for a live audience? Mm-hmm. I've always wanted to do that. So yes, I actually was going to perform Tucci Badaducci at Deer Summerfest last year before COVID, this year before COVID shut it down in August. So I was on track to, and I said, hey, I sent him a Tucci song. Hey man, can you get me in? He said, oh my God, absolutely.
Nice.
So I'm so down to do that when we're all back. I love being on stage, man. And I've got this larger than life energy when I'm on stage, man. Well, and normal, sometimes I'm a little much for people, but hey, man, maybe they need to, shine their lights a little brighter. But on stage though, it's a whole nother level. I love that feeling of being on stage. It's just electric.
Lastly, we have Bring It, we have Conspiracy, we have Demon Color, All Out. When can we expect, I guess, another record from you? and what can we expect from this record?
Okay, so I have 2 songs from that movie, All Those Small Things, Tiny Hammer, that can't come out till the movie comes out, so that's going to be a year. Then I have my Bird Boy song from the documentary. That won't be out because of a year. But should I put that on the EP? No, I shouldn't. Then I have another track for Alpha Rift, my other movie, but that won't come out for a year. But what I'm working on right now is the EP for Dalla Villa, the first EP. So I'm going to use the first 3 songs, Conspiracy, Demon Killer, and Bring It, and put that as part of the EP. So I got to write 2 or 3 more songs. Maybe I'll do 5 songs and have a bonus record. I'm sitting on the beats already. One's another collaboration with another well-known artist along the way. And then besides that, I have the 5 Tucci songs that I've already written, etc., which are going to be for his EP. It's All Gucci. It's either going to be It's All Gucci or Keep It Gucci All the Time.
Nice.
What do you feel? It's All Gucci or Keep It Gucci?
I like It's All Gucci.
It's All Gucci, yeah. But Gucci is spelled Guucci because of copyright.
Right, nice. That's funny.
So that's going to be Tucci's EP. It's like 5 songs. And then I'm Dalla Villa's EP. So basically that's going to cover me. That should cover me for the next year until those movies come out, and then I can start dropping those. And while, after those are done, I could probably start working on something else. But yeah, that's my main plan. So my main plan right now, besides working on those, is Bring It and making sure that Bring It just continues. We just surpassed 85,000 streams on Spotify. Nice. Just continue to. I got word that we're now playing on radio in Africa. So
nice.
That's dope.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting press and stuff and interviews for Bring It. So that's really cool. So my job is just to keep the momentum going. And I have someone tell me that I need to drop an EP by January. I need to drop. So I'm literally hoping that I don't want to say this if it happens, but if acting slows down, which it has not, it has been nonstop, I will have more time to write the music because I don't want to just write some BS. You know, I really try to put the thought in and craft it, depending on what the message I want to tell with the song.
He's Dalla Villa. Dude, it's been great talking to you.
Dude, it's been a pleasure, man.
The tracks are great. I appreciate that. Like I said, I appreciate that every one of them sounds different, not just be you.
What's your favorite track?
I like Demon Killer a lot.
Damn right, I knew you would, bro.
That's like...
Honestly, bro, Demon Killer is my best track. Hands down. Hands down. That shit is dope.
Together, tethered, feathered. Now or never. No longer ride or die. Rip the patches off my sweater. Now I'm changing the weather. I kissed high goodbye. Higher powers design. Gave it a try. 90 days. Saw my whole world change. Thoughts refrain. No cocaine and champagne. The spirit was claimed by fate. No longer spreading hate. I don't retaliate. A faith-based stick. On service I concentrate. I choose. I had all to lose from the drug and the booze. But I promise